The Galactic Conservation Station orbited the forest moon of Verdanus 7, a sanctuary for endangered species from across 3 quadrants. Elena Martinez had been assigned there for 6 months as part of the Human Xenobiology Exchange Program. And in that time, she'd learned that most aliens found humans either terrifying or utterly baffling. Today was shaping up to be another baffling day. "Human Elena, I must protest your presence in the juvenile predator wing," chittered Vessel Keeper Thrix, his insectoid mandibles clicking nervously. The Ketharii administrator's compound eyes reflected a dozen versions of Elena's determined face. "The Ceravian cub cats are in their aggressive play phase. Even our reinforced containment suits have been shredded." Elena adjusted her standard-issue jacket, just a simple thermal layer. Nothing fancy, and smiled. "Thrix, I've reviewed the behavioral reports. They're just babies. I grew up with cats." "Cats?" Thrix's antennae twitched in confusion. "Earth predators. Small ones. Well, small compared to us." Elena pulled up a hologram from her datapad, showing an orange tabby. "See? Same basic instincts." "Probably." Thrix's translator struggled with the concept before producing. "Your world breeds miniature predators in your habitation spaces. Voluntarily?" "Yep." Elena grinned wider. The Ketharii led her through 3 security checkpoints, each attended by staff in heavy armor that made them look like they were preparing for combat rather than animal care. The other xenobiologists, a scholarly Telvori, 2 methodical Grenthi, and a cautious Xylar, all stopped their work to watch the human pass. "She's actually going in," whispered one of the Grenthi to his colleague, his crystalline form refracting concerned patterns. The juvenile habitat was impressive. A climate-controlled biodome spanning 200 meters, filled with artificial trees and rock formations that mimicked the cubs' homeworld. Somewhere in that synthetic wilderness prowled 6 Ceravian cubcats, each the size of an earth lion, with midnight blue fur that shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, retractable claws that could tear through duralloy, and the hunting instincts that made adult Ceravians the apex predators of their world. The adults, Elena had been told, could take down a cargo shuttle. "The feeding drone was destroyed yesterday," Thrix explained, gesturing at twisted metal in the corner. "They have learned to cooperate in their hunts." "It is concerning." Elena studied the habitat through the observation window. She could see movement in the artificial foliage, sleek forms darting between shadows, testing boundaries, learning. They're bored, and they're pack animals with no pack structure. No wonder they're acting out. "Acting out?" Thrix's translator flagged the phrase. "Misbehaving. Being destructive because they need stimulation and social bonding." Elena headed toward the access door. "I'm going in." "Human Elena, no. The station medical bay is not equipped for—" "I'll be fine, Thrix. Trust me." She keyed her access code, and the airlock hissed open. Behind her, she heard Thrix rapidly speaking into his communicator, probably alerting the entire station to witness the human's impending demise. Elena stepped into the habitat alone, and the door sealed behind her. The artificial forest fell silent. Elena walked calmly to the center of the clearing, her movements relaxed and confident. She'd learned long ago that predators could smell fear, probably a universal truth. She sat down cross-legged on the moss-covered ground and waited. Through the observation window, a crowd had gathered. News traveled fast on a space station. The first cub appeared at the tree line, a male, judging by the broader head structure. His bioluminescent stripes pulsed with curiosity and wariness. Then another emerged, and another, until all 6 cubs had formed a loose semicircle around her, maintaining a cautious distance. Elena didn't move. She barely breathed. The smallest cub, barely 3 months old, with oversized paws and ears, broke formation first. He crept forward, belly low, tail twitching. His stripes flickered through colors. Blue for curiosity, yellow for uncertainty, a flash of red for predatory interest. Hey there, little guy, Elena said softly. You must be Kiro. She'd memorized all their names from the files. Kiro had been rescued from poachers, orphaned too young, under-socialized. The reports flagged him as the most aggressive and unpredictable of the group. Kiro approached to within 2 meters, then sat back on his haunches, studying her with eyes that held an unsettling intelligence. Then, without warning, he pounced. Not at her face or throat, Elena noted with professional interest, but at the corner of her jacket. His needle-sharp teeth sank into the thermal fabric, and he began that distinctive headshake that predators use to break prey's necks. Outside, someone gasped. Thrix looked ready to activate the emergency extraction protocols. Elena remained perfectly calm. She'd been expecting this, the testing behavior, the need to establish where she fit in the pack hierarchy. Slowly, deliberately, she stood up. Kiro's teeth remained locked in her jacket. His paws scrambled for purchase as he found himself lifted off the ground, dangling from her jacket like a very dangerous ornament. His bioluminescent stripes flashed in surprise, cycling rapidly through colors that the translator database probably labeled as confusion. And this was not supposed to happen. Elena raised her arm higher, lifting Kiro completely off the ground. The cub cat weighed at least 30 kilograms, but Earth's gravity was higher than Saravia's, and Elena had been doing station maintenance work that kept her strong. Kiro hung there, still gripping her jacket, looking increasingly bewildered. Outside the habitat, the watching aliens fell silent. Then Elena did something that would be replayed across the Galactic Conservation Network for months to come. She looked directly at Kiro's confused face and laughed. Not a nervous laugh or a frightened giggle, but a genuine, delighted laugh. "Oh, you're a fierce hunter, aren't you?" she said, her voice warm with amusement. "Yes, you are. Such a scary predator." Kiro's stripes flickered uncertainly. This was not how prey was supposed to behave. Then Elena heard it from outside the observation window. One of the Grenthi xenobiologists made a sound that its translator converted as laughter. Then another joined in. Then the Telvori's deep, rumbling chuckle. Even Thrix's chittering took on an amused quality. The entire observation deck erupted in laughter, a dozen different species, with a dozen different ways of expressing amusement, all laughing at the sight of the tiny predator cub dangling from the human's jacket. Looking utterly baffled by this turn of events, Kiro finally released his grip and dropped to the ground, landing with the grace that all cats seem to possess. He sat down and began grooming his paw, as if the entire incident had been beneath his dignity and certainly not embarrassing at all. Elena knelt down to his level. "Good boy," she said softly, extending her hand. After a moment's hesitation, Kiro pressed his broad head into her palm, and his bioluminescent stripes pulsed a gentle, contented purple. The other cubs crept closer, their earlier wariness replaced with curiosity. By the time Elena exited the habitat an hour later, she had 5 of the 6 cubs following her like ducklings, with Kiro riding on her shoulders, his paws kneading her jacket contentedly. Thrix stood at the airlock, his mandibles hanging open. "I do not understand what I witnessed. I wed a day. Not understand." Elena grinned, reaching up to scratch Kiro behind his tufted ears. The cub's purr resonated like a small engine. "That's the thing about humans, Thrix. We domesticated wolves. We made friends with apex predators and turned them into family. It's kind of our thing. Thank you watching." End quote. "Your species is insane," Thrix stated flatly. "Yeah," Elena agreed cheerfully. "But we're really good with animals." As she walked down the corridor toward the xenobiology lab, aliens pressed against the walls to let the human and her entourage of juvenile predators pass. Behind her, she heard Thrix updating his report. "Note for Galactic Conservation Protocol update. Humans may be employed in juvenile predator socialization programs. Despite complete disregard for personal safety and incomprehensible behavior, results are effective." Somehow. Further study required. Possibly therapy for observing staff as well. Kiro chose that moment to bite her jacket again,